The air in Medellin was thick with the scent of exhaust and rain. Dario Sepulveda was getting into his car. He was Griselda Blanco's estranged husband. He was also the father of her youngest son. Before he could turn the key, men dressed as police officers approached. They were not police. A hail of bullets tore through the metal and glass, ending Dario's life on the pavement. The message was clear. It was a message from Griselda. Their 6-year-old son, Michael Corleone Blanco, was then put on a plane and sent back to his mother in America. He was now an orphan of his father, claimed by the empire of his mother. This single brutal act set the stage for a life defined by violence and inheritance. Michael Blanco was not just any child of the cartel era. He was the youngest, the one who saw it all unfold from a terrifyingly young age. He was the one who would outlive them all. He would watch his mother build a cocaine empire that drenched the streets of Miami in blood and money. He would see his brothers, one by one, fall to the same violence that had built their family's fortune. The last son of Griselda Blanco, the sole heir to a name that was both a crown and a curse. Because of these things, he filed a lawsuit against Netflix for their rendition of his mother's life. Michael Corleone Blanco was born in 1978 not in the hills of Colombia, but in the burgeoning, sun-bleached metropolis of Miami. His name was no accident. His mother, Griselda, admired a certain cinematic archetype. By naming her 4th son after Michael Corleone, she was making a declaration. She anointed him a prince of the criminal underworld she was methodically conquering. He was born into royalty, but the kingdom was a narco-state built on cocaine, built on fear, haunted by an ever-present specter of death. His birth symbolized his mother's power and cinematic view of her life. His father was Dario Sepulveda, once a key figure in Griselda's operation. In Griselda's world, loyalty was currency, betrayal was a capital offense. A custody dispute over young Michael became a death sentence. Griselda's will prevailed. She had Dario assassinated in Medellin. The murder was a business decision, a cold calculation to secure her most prized possession, her youngest son. The empire began to crumble on a February morning in 1985. Griselda Blanco, the most feared drug trafficker in Miami, was arrested by DEA agents in Irvine, California. She was found in her bed, reading the Bible. For 7-year-old Michael, this was the moment his world shattered. She was taken away in handcuffs, leaving her son to navigate the treacherous world she had created. But now, without her protection. The arrest marked the end of an era for the Miami drug trade and the beginning of a long, terrifying exile for her youngest son. His life of luxury was over in an instant. He was no longer a prince, but a target. He was passed between guardians, living in the shadows, constantly moving to stay one step ahead of his mother's enemies. These were not phantom threats. They were real people who wanted revenge on the Blanco family. And a child was the most vulnerable target of all. His life became a blur of unfamiliar houses and temporary caretakers, a nomadic existence dictated by fear. The violence that had always been on the periphery now struck his family with brutal precision. His older brothers were systematically eliminated. Osvaldo, Dixon, Uber. Each death was another blow, another reminder that the Blanco name was a death warrant. By the time he was a young man, Michael was utterly alone. His mother was imprisoned, and his brothers were all dead. He had witnessed the peak of the empire and wandered through its ruins. The fall of the godmother brought chaos and a harsh inheritance. He was the last son, carrying the memories, the trauma, and the infamous name into a future that was anything but certain. As Michael Blanco entered adulthood, the shadow of his family's legacy loomed large. The path laid by his mother and brothers was one of crime, and for a time, it seemed he was destined to walk it. In the early 2000s, Michael was arrested on drug trafficking charges, accused of trying to buy 5 kilos from an undercover officer. He faced serious prison time, a harsh echo of his mother's fate. He spent several years under house arrest, and ultimately served time in prison. It was a crucible. Either succumb to the Blanco destiny, or fight to create a new one. Separated from his own children, he felt the generational trauma repeating. He had seen his brothers meet the first fate, death. Now he stared down the second, incarceration. Upon his release, Michael made a conscious decision to break the cycle. He had paid his debt and would shed the skin of his past. The weight of the Blanco name would always be there, but he decided he could reshape what it meant. Survival, redemption, a second act. He looked into the abyss of his family's history and chose to turn away. Michael embarked on a mission to rebrand himself. He co-founded a lifestyle brand, Pure Blanco. The name referenced his family and the product that made it infamous, but aimed to redefine it. He appeared on Cartel Crew, open about his past, his mother's legacy, and his desire for a different life, the survivor who got out. He turned symbols of a dark past into marketable commodities, building a legitimate enterprise on an illegitimate foundation. Not by erasing the past, but by repackaging it for a new era, shaped by survival and entrepreneurial grit. In early 2024, the Blanco narrative Michael had been cultivating was suddenly taken out of his hands. Netflix released Griselda, starring and executive produced by Sofia Vergara. It rocketed to #1, becoming the most watched title in 89 countries. For Michael Blanco, it was not pride. It was a profound betrayal. A version of his story was broadcast to millions, without his consent or involvement. He said the series used material he had shared in confidence with producers, in discussions from 2009 to 2022.
I'm not going to lie to you. It was very emotional. There was a point where I found myself gasping for air. I found myself happy. I found myself sad.
The series depicted his mother, his brothers, and even a version of himself, but it felt like a violation, as if strangers had broken into his home and were selling his family photos. Faced with what he saw as the theft of his life story, Michael filed suit on January 17, 2024. The suit named Sofia Vergara, Netflix, and others, alleging misuse of his likeness and private interviews. He sought an emergency injunction to block release, but the petition wasn't granted. The show dropped on schedule. Executive producer Eric Newman was unfazed. "I dealt with similar suits from Pablo Escobar, his family. It comes with the territory." He framed Griselda as a fictionalized account. "We're not making a documentary. We're not writing a book about Griselda." This defense drew a line between factual reporting and dramatic interpretation, artistic license versus a family's lived reality. For Newman, it was just another show. For Michael, it was his entire life. The core of Michael Blanco's lawsuit rested on a simple, powerful claim. His story had been taken without his permission. For more than a decade, he sat for extensive interviews with producers, believing they'd lead to a book and a show with him as a key partner. According to the lawsuit, others took that material to Netflix, cutting him out of the deal entirely. He felt he provided the soul of the story, only to be left with nothing. He claimed he offered consultation to Sofia Vergara's team. No one called back. To him, that was disrespect. By using his likeness and story, he argued, Netflix interfered with his ability to profit from his own life and diluted his Pure Blanco brand. "I feel that the story, our story, my family's story, the Blanco family's universe, it's so complex and so legendary, it should be shown respect when it comes to storytelling," he said. The legal showdown ended not with a dramatic verdict, but with a quiet, confidential resolution. Just weeks after filing, the case was settled in February 2024. Court documents showed the complaint was dismissed with prejudice. Permanently closed, not to be refiled. Beat. Case closed. The terms remain confidential. No one knows what, if anything, changed hands. Despite the dismissal, Michael has continued to voice his dissatisfaction with the series. The outcome highlights the interplay between law, money, and narrative in Hollywood. Settlements can be cheaper than truth fights. The swift dismissal suggests both sides found it advantageous to end the fight and move on. True winners sealed away. The legal door was shut. He lost the ability to sue again, but not his voice. Today, Michael Blanco exists at his most influential peak. He is a legitimate businessman, a father, and a media personality. His Pure Blanco brand has carved out its own niche, a testament to turning lead into a form of gold. He has broken the cycle, creating a new path rooted in legitimate business. He is the guardian of the Blanco legacy, developing his own projects, including a book determined to present his version. The conflict with Griselda served as a global announcement of his intentions. Go through him if you want the cocaine godmother's story. He has positioned himself as the essential consultant, the final authority on all things Blanco. He inherited a name synonymous with crime and violence, but chose to own it, wrestle with it, monetize it, and protect it. His journey asks, who has the ultimate right to tell a story written in blood and headlines? Is it the last man standing, or anyone with a camera and a platform? Today, that name is at the center of a different kind of war, fought with lawsuits and media statements, in courts of law and public opinion. For Michael, the story is not just content, it's his life, his identity, and the legacy he is trying to control. The conflict raises a question about where history ends and entertainment begins. What do you think? Did Michael do the right thing by settling, or should he have fought to keep his family's secrets private? Let us know in the comments below.